I would like to invite here on the stage Luigi Tischer, who is the HEAT4U project coordinator and also the operation director here in Robur.
I think he's going to explain us how this project will work.
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. It's a pleasure for me today to have the opportunity to explain you a little bit of the details of the project, what the project is about, its objectives, the partners we have involved, and the benefits that this will bring to the overall community. Now, as we have seen before in the previous discussions, there is a challenge in Europe, which is indeed the amount of energy which is used in the existing buildings. In particular, the construction industry is responsible for 40% of the energy consumption and 36% of the CO2. We heard these numbers, which are substantially similar across the different countries in Europe, and the average in Europe is obviously substantially the same, and are not different from what we see in other countries like the US. But here the key point and the key element is this building stock evolve very slowly. There is approximately 1% per year of new buildings, and is approximately 2% of renovation, deep renovation of buildings. And is only 5% of the heating system which is updated on our existing building stock. So this creates a system which is slowly evolving, and if we have urgent needs, this doesn't match our expectation. The other key element is that this existing building stock has a poor performance in terms of efficiency. This is a picture of the thermal load, a specific thermal load of the buildings. You see we can move from 50 kilowatt hours per square meter per annum up to 300 kilowatt hours per square meter per annum. So it's a factor of 6 between the best and the worst buildings we have in Europe. But the largest majority has definitely very poor performance. In addition, we know that 60% of the existing building is residential. So we need to address the quality of this heating system. We need to find solutions for the families. And the other point is that, in particular in Europe, a large portion of this building, approximately 30%, are historical building or building with architectural constraints. So this is definitely creating a challenge. And this is the area where, if Europe wants to have an impact, they need to address the heating and domestic hot water production, the existing buildings, and what we do have today. And this is really the challenge we have to face with this project. But we need to highlight that heat pumps have been considered, and are indeed considered today, as one of the technology that do have the density of power and energy to address this issue. Because in few square meters or few cubic meters, they can deliver the real power that is needed to heat a building. And they do have, in general, very limited amount of emissions, CO2 emission, NOx emissions, or particulate. So these are technologies that indeed are compatible with the challenge. But we need also to realize that a significant portion, or the largest majority of the solutions that we find today on the market, are designed in particular for new buildings. The lack of focus on the existing buildings is what is really creating a gap, and something that needs to be addressed. Now, in order to address this challenge, within the European Economic Recovery Plan, the European Commission has created an initiative for almost €1 billion of funding for motivating the construction industry to renovate existing building and to build new buildings with a much larger efficiency numbers in their design and their characteristics. Now, this is indeed a key element. So the European Commission has clearly identified the need and the focus and is now pushing through this initiative the change in the way in which the construction industry is behaving today. Now, the European Commission also emphasized another key important message. It's not only a matter of creating an efficient system or actually an efficient technology. It's a matter of taking this technology to the market by creating all the different, let's say, accessories, functionalities, and overcoming all of those non-technological barriers that can prevent the technology to succeed in the market. Now, as a result of this, the European Commission has created a call back in July 2010, and the call has this specific title, New Efficient Solution for Energy Generation, Storage and Use, related to space heating and domestic hot water in existing building. So in realizing the priority that Europe is facing in terms of reduction of emissions and reduction of energy consumptions, they created a specific call. Now, this is indeed focusing on the key elements we just discussed. Now, the opportunity we do have is very large. There was a number of companies active in Europe on the gas absorption technologies. Many of these companies had a clear understanding of the potential of technology and a deep understanding that this technology can succeed and be not only successful in the call of the European Commission, but successful in the market. The problem was to make sure that what was already working and was already tested in the light commercial application, where the technology is already growing and is successfully applied across Europe, could be taken into the residential environment, where the technology was most needed and where the largest business opportunity are. So we had to overcome some technical issues like performance improvement, industrial design, ease of use, and so on. And Mr. Marco Guerra, which will later on follow me on this speech, will go in depth in these elements of technical elements. In addition to the technical elements, there are also non-technological barriers, like the definition of the specific need of each individual market in Europe, defining the norms on how to measure the performance of this technology against other technologies or between the different products. Creation of laboratories, infrastructure to measure the equipment to guarantee the quality of the products and the performance. Acquisition of feedback from the customers, so installing the equipment in the field and receiving feedback from customers in which direction to improve the technology. Then documenting all of this benefit to the community, authorities, energy policy makers, customers, installers, and so on. And then definitely creating the training and certification programs for installers and planners to make sure that the deployment of technology will happen in the right way. Now, all of this initiative could be actually, the 7th frame program could be considered as an opportunity to lead all of these activities in one, let's say, harmonized way and coordinating all of these activities across Europe between all the different partners and making sure that we fill the gap that exists between having a technology and having a successful product on the market. And this is really the challenge that we have in front of us, making sure that the technology we know exists and it works will be soon, very soon be available in a much larger residential market. Now, we therefore try to, let's say, highlight what are the tasks that we needed to face. We tried to list the different activities we were gonna take care and address, like the development of the heat pump itself, the development of the system around the heat pump, like the system integration with all the components, the hydronic system, the system control, and then going through the prototyping, testing, demonstration, validation of all the different elements that we will be developing. And then performing the life cycle cost analysis of the technology, or the life cycle environmental impact of the technology, just to make sure that at the end of the day, the society will have a gain out of the use of this technology. So this technology can be self-sufficient. It's not going to rely only on incentives or special promotions, but it will have a value on its own. And then being able to disseminate all of this across Europe. Now, the key element became the identifying a solution in terms of who is going to do all of this. We realized that there was no one single organization across Europe who could tackle all of this across Europe. Therefore, we tried to identify for each of those tasks some of the key partners across Europe that can address. And so, in particular for, let's say, the hardware side, the development of the heat pump and the system, we approach and we enjoy to have the cooperation of Bosch Buderus, Pininfarina, and Primordia, just to create, let's say, the equipment, let me put it this way. But then we have seen that some of the most prestigious organizations in terms of research and development in university were very willing to participate and join the consortium by offering their service in terms of technical competence and validation. And so we enjoy the participation of Polytechnic of Milan, Fraunhofer Institute, ZAG from Slovenia, and Enea in Italy. So they will take part of this consortium, in particular in the area of laboratory testing and field testing, and modeling and simulation. Once we reviewed our ambitions and our target to deploy the technology across Europe, we realized that we need to make sure that the technology can really be viable throughout the most important countries in Europe. And for this reason, we asked the cooperation with some of the most prominent utility companies in Europe, like Gaz de France Suez, GRDF, always in France, British Gas, E.ON, and E.ON as utilities companies. This to cover some of the major countries where heat pumps are developing. Then we focus in particular on the Polish market, where we want to test technology in extreme conditions in terms of weather, and we enjoy the cooperation with Floair that have joined the consortium. Lastly, to make sure we could then be able to disseminate, first of all, prepare the appropriate reporting on all of this benefit and feature of the technology, and be able to disseminate this at the appropriate level in all the different countries, in particular in the European Commission. We enjoyed the cooperation of two of the most prominent consultants at European level, the Polonia and the CF Consulting, which are going to help us in the administration of the project, and in particular in the dissemination of the technology itself. Then, once we reviewed all of this, we discovered that in reality there were several other markets that were not included yet, and we had high evidence of interest from the Marco Gas Association, which is the European Association of Gas Companies, the Danish Gas Center for Denmark, Gasterra from the Netherlands, which is a very strong gas-oriented country, and the Swiss Association of Gas Companies. So we made sure we could involve them by creating a steering committee, a strategic advisory board, in which we could exchange with them the progress of the program, review their opinions and their suggestions, and make sure we have them on board since the beginning in steering the project in the right direction, to make sure that once the project will be in the dissemination phase, we will have them on board and helping us and supporting us in the promotion and dissemination of technology in their own regions and countries. Now, what are the deliverables of this project? What are we going to deliver to the end customer? So let me say there are two key elements. One is definitely we are going to deliver some hardware, some technology. And this we will detail in a minute, this. On the other side, we will also provide Europe with some tools that are related to training and certification material for installer and planners of gas heat pumps. There will be websites to communicate the development of the project and what the project is capable of. There will be a demonstration site. So all of this will be put together in addition to the research and development work that we'll perform on the hardware side. In terms of resources, the project will see a total investment of almost 10 million euros from the 15 partners of the consortium. So it's a fairly large effort for the partners. And this will span over 36 months. The total number of people involved will be measured in 800 persons per month. But this is much more than having 25 people full-time for 3 years on this project. This is having kind of cherry-picking from the top, most competent companies across Europe, the top specialists, align them on one single objective. And this is what will make us very proud of the project, but also give us a reassurance and a confidence that we will succeed in a very ambitious, with this very ambitious target. We need to tell that all of this amount of money will be spent primarily in research and development and demonstration. More than 80% of the total funding will be invested in technology. And let me add, sorry, that 50% of the cost will be direct personnel cost. This implies that we will be building up in Europe a group of professionals that will be fluent with gas absorption technology. And this will be Europe investing in Europe, meaning investing on a very European native technology. In terms of timeline, we do target for having a multi-site, multi-purpose demonstration phase. There will be a set of validation that we will be creating across Europe. And this will be available, as you see, 24 months from the start of the project. Please note that within 6 months from the start of the project, there will be the release of the first, let's say, report about the overall feasibility of the project, the first milestone that will guarantee we have enough evidence to guarantee the success of the project. And that is going to occur fairly soon. Let me add that the timeline is kind of peculiar. We are here today to celebrate the start of the project. In reality, the project started November 1st, 2011. So we are now in the 3rd month of this project. And the reason for this is due to the sense of urgency that both the members of the consortium and the European community felt about the project. So the consortium decided to start the project even before the paperwork from the European Commission was completed. This is an evidence of the level of commitment that there is within this project to be able to get to the end result the soonest possible. One last comment in terms of impact. Who is going to benefit from this technology? Definitely the end users. The end users will see a very cost-effective way to bring renewable energy and improving the efficiency of their buildings in their existing buildings. And so this is going to be clearly one of the key categories that will benefit from this technology. They will benefit also because there will be a significant reduction in the cost of running their heating system. But it's not going to be the only one who will benefit. Heating manufacturers will benefit from a technology which can be seen as an evolution of the regular gas boilers. So this transition into a gas absorption heat pump is something that will be less traumatic for the gas industry, and in particular for the service organization, because this technology resembles fairly closely in terms of servicing irregular gas condensing boilers, so something which is very well known and very robust in terms of performance on the field. But In addition, installers and planners will have the opportunity to comply with a growing number of requirements from the European legislation and local legislation in terms of renewable energy and efficiency. And this will make their life easier, because with one appliance they can address all of these stringent requirements. But even utilities will benefit from this. Gas utilities will be able to convey the message that gas is now a vector to bring renewable energy within your home in a very cost-effective way, in a very important and substantial way. Last but not least, I believe that energy policymaker and member state in general will benefit from a technology that will not impose any upgrade of the grid, will not put at risk assurance of supply of electricity during winter peaks and so on. And will make sure that, and this is a benefit, that this technology that can be deployed today without any additional investment and any hidden cost in the infrastructure. Last but not least, this is an R&D and manufacturing European technology. So even for, I believe, for our member states, there is a good opportunity to promote a technology that is indeed has a European history and future. Now, let's see in terms of results. This is what I told you so far, is what we proposed to the European Commission, what we highlighted. Now, let's see what is the data, the outcome of their analysis. We received 120 proposals, 23 received approval and financing. On this specific call, HEAT4U got the highest ranking, and we got almost twice as much the average contribution of anybody else. This is a clear statement in terms of appreciation that the European Commission had for this project. The criteria for ranking were substantially two: alignment with the priorities of the European Commission and impact. Because you can be aligned, but if you don't move Europe, you cannot make a change. It's not that important. The European Commission did recognize the opportunity to make an impact in the direction they really appreciated. And so this is the net results of the European Commission in terms of, let's say, numbers and data. Please note, by the way, most of you that are familiar with the European Commission know that when you propose a program, a research program, usually there is a significant cutting in the budget. We were, to be honest, almost surprised by seeing that the European Commission accepted the initially proposed budget 100%. It is again an indication of the level of urgency and priority for a program like this. And this is, for us, is a matter of proudness. Now, the point, there are a few other comments that the European Commission has made in their evaluation. Let's say non-quantitative, but equally important. This is taken directly from their statement. You know, when they communicated us the net result of the ranking, this is what they told us. The proposal addresses real needs for more efficient energy system. It showed clear impacts. The project supports many European priorities as reducing energy consumption, increasing Europe value chain. This technology increased the competitiveness of the European industry. GHP adoption will provide large savings in primary energy. GHP does not have electrical network constraint. It is more efficient, consuming less gas than a gas boiler. So a clear understanding of what we're talking about and a clear appreciation of the proposal. Now, let me conclude this short introduction of the HEAT4U project by saying that this statement reinforces our belief that the gas absorption technology will contribute in adapting the current energy system into a more sustainable one, less dependent from imported fossil fuels, and using a higher percentage of renewable energy. In addition, HEAT4U in particular is intended to accelerate the adoption rate of the technology, offering to the largest possible number of European citizens the opportunity to substantially increase the energy efficiency of their buildings and the amount of renewable energy they use. So, thank you very much for being here today, sharing with us this event. I understand we have now 3 very interesting roundtables, and I will leave Maurizio Melis to lead the rest of the meeting. Thank you very much again.